Going to be drawing some noses in the sketchbook today because I want to learn a bit more about the anatomy of the nose and just features of the face in general. I find myself like I can draw a nose and all that, no problem. Eyes, lips, whatever. And yeah, I know the anatomy for the most part, but I really want to get it down in my head a little bit more. The names and just the understanding of why it all happens. I can paint it all very convincingly and draw it all very convincingly, but as an artist, I feel like I just need to learn more and more. I don't feel like I could teach it very well, so I need to improve. What I'm working off of today is mostly some drawings. I have some reference images for myself, but I'm working off of like drawings of people who've already done kind of how to learn the anatomy of the nose. I think most of these are from Prokopenko, which I'm sure most of you have seen before. Really good resource for learning visual art. So this isn't really going to be me teaching you today, it's going to be me learning. And well, like all my videos for the most part, I'm always trying to learn something new or just talk about my process. But I really want to get down to the ground about what I'm trying to do here. I'll link in the description the actual reference images I'm using today, just so you guys have a little bit of idea what I'm doing. I have loads of them up on my screen here, so it's not just the one. So I'm not gonna just do, one image up in the left-hand corner or anything. Where are we going here? I think I'm just trying to put in the cartilage here of the nose, like that. That was the nasal bone here, and then we're gonna try to get the cartilage in, and the wing, which I think is made up of, if I recall, in something that I watched, was like made of fatty tissue. Oh, it's also on the reference image I'm using. Yeah, okay. I may have messed that up a little bit what I'm drawing, but I suppose I shouldn't worry about too much about proportion and all this sort of thing. It's not the worst thing in the world. I really just want to start to understand how it all intersects with each other. And now that I've got that drawing in my pencil, I'm just going to get my pen here and mark out what I'm actually seeing. So this here, your nostrils on the side, your wings, is alar fa. And then what else have we got here? This bit, which connects from the tip of the nostril bone into this bit of cartilage, which is the ball of your nose, or the tip of your nose. It's called lateral cartilage. How you spell that? Edge, A-G-E. And we've got the septum here. And this is the front cartilage that's broken into two bits here. It's called the greater alar cartilage. I should be good at saying that word by the end of this video anyway. A-L-A-R, cartilage. I wonder why it's called that. Like, there's always a reason like why something in anatomy is called a thing. Like, what does ALR, LR come from? We should mark out the bones as well. So just a note of this is the nasal bone. I might go a little bit darker in the next drawing just so maybe you guys can see it a little bit easier. And what else have we got? Maxilla is the side. I'll do a little line outside so I'm not drawing over my drawing, or writing over my other writing. And then the key, this little top of the bridge here, is called the glabella. Okay, we'll move on to another drawing. I'll start with the gesture this time. I was going maybe too much about trying to draw what get too much into details, but I still need to follow some sort of gesture line if I don't make a decent drawing for myself. And I can start to understand the flow of the anatomy as well, which is always good. Same kind of thing here, just a different type of nose. We got what is this? This is the lateral cartilage. Remind myself of that. Sorry, I did say I'd go a bit darker, so I'll just go over these lines here. I'm just using a Luminance pencil for these. I don't really have a lot of them because they're quite expensive, but I also don't do a lot of, what's it called? Colour pencil drawing. So having one to sketch with is actually just kind of nice. Does feel good in the old hand and on the paper. This is, what did we say? This is the nasal bone that's connected on top of. And then up here, we said this was the glabella. It's not in my drawing. It's not in my reference image, but I'll just throw it up anyway. And then this here was the maxilla bone that I'm seeing. Let's get in the rest. This is the alarfa. Yeah, that's what we're calling that, isn't it? Yeah, alarfa, which is like your nostrils, I suppose. Wrap some there like that, and then the bottom of this greater alar cartilage goes in like that. It wraps underneath, doesn't it? It starts going downwards. This is the front plane, so it has that nice big sharp corner there that we can work with. Just give ourselves some direction. I'm not going to maybe write out the names this time, but I'm just going to confirm what arrows where we're going with these things. And then this wraps around like this, wrapping over each other, and then that kind of goes down. Just trying to find the flow of it all. That kind of flows quite clearly. There's not a big bump there, but that has a big turn, which I can actually do with the pencil more. Maybe we can throw in just some shading just to show some turn. Yeah. Actually, I'll just go in with my pencil and darken up my first drawing just so you guys can see what's going on a bit more. What are we working on here? The greater alar cartilage, like we said before. And this is alar fat. I actually really like studying anatomy. It's just good to get into your head, isn't it? It's your glabella, and then this is the maxilla bone. Lateral cartilage, alar fat, greater alar cartilage. That's where I am, yeah. And then I'll put in some shading into this one again, just so we have some sort of turn. It's a good idea, just it's for myself as well to know what's going on. Okay, let's do another drawing here. Gonna sharpen this pencil up. I have a reference image here of underneath the nose, so I'll draw that. And then this is also just another drawing, but I'll draw just that image, and then I'll draw from a photo reference and try label that anatomy there just to get it into my head a bit more. It seems to be like the nose, while it's grouped, is actually split quite a lot. Like even this it's called what's this greater alar cartilage at the front, but it actually wraps downwards and kind of like it's like two forms intersecting with each other to make it look like one, you know. Oh, and I'm doing that thing again where I'm not going dark enough for you guys. Let's try that again. This definitely gives a good sense of like the underneath of the nose, where how it actually like wraps around, creates this nice shape here, doesn't it? Wraps into each other. And this would all be in shadow as well. Alright, okay. Let's work from a photo reference this time. Oh, I'm getting my pencil shavings everywhere. So I'll draw from this one. This one I'll put up on the screen for you guys. I'll draw it like I normally do anyway, first of all, and then I'll draw on top of that to see where we're going with it and learn from it a bit more. You know, just learning the anatomy. Well, it's like, you know, it's like, sure, you can draw like a convincing thing without knowing it, but why not learn more and see? And like, it just helps you see more, which is all we're trying to do as artists. Okay, and then let us mark out. I'll go a bit darker. See where we're going here. I've got a general sense of that drawing. Everything wraps underneath each other. I have to remember that. So that's actually wrapping like this, isn't it? And then look at my past drawings, which way is this going? So it's actually going this way. And we have to get in, so that's the greater alar. We have to get the lateral cartilage, which wraps inward like this on this image, does it? Might be a little bit hard to see, for me anyway. I suppose I don't have to worry about it being too accurate. I just have to start thinking about what I'm seeing. Thinking about the anatomy underneath. We'll shade it up just to get ourselves a bit of thinking about it in 3D a little bit. There's a softer area here, and if I recall, that's actually a muscle that wraps around. Maybe I should have put that into. I should have got some reference for that. Okay, now I'll get back to my pen, and I'll just try without looking. I'll be like, that's alar fat. This is the greater alar cartilage. And what is this again? This is lateral cartilage. And this is your nasal bone. Don't know why I did a line for that one. I didn't for the other ones, but sure. Bone. This is your maxilla. Oh, now I can't help myself. Maxilla. And that's your glabella. And we'll do one more drawing from a reference, I think. Maybe with a slightly different angle. Gonna draw it like I normally do. Trying to find the gesture. Bit of a hard angle on this one, actually. Sure, it must be going like this from looking at it from here. Just trying to get the perspective right in this one. Sometimes you have to simplify the shape to get the perspective right. There's a lot going on in the old face. Things to trick your head. Alright, let's start marking it in just a bit darker, so I know where I'm going with this. Should actually, what way was it? I'm going to look at the rest of my drawings here. That should be a turn, right? Or was it actually up a little bit more? No, that should be the turn there. And then it will wrap in like this. It's a bit of a rougher one, I think. But I think we can still work with it. And then the nasal bone somewhere here onto that glabella. And then the maxilla is just around here. Okay. It's definitely getting me to think about the actual turns of the nose a lot more. What plane changes happen. Next time I'm doing my nose anatomy for myself, I'm going to try just figure out what muscles are around. I notice some muscles that wrap around the nose a little bit. That's why you get softer and harder edges. Though you also have the nasal bone popping out, which, like, see this here, this nasal bone here, which usually create a harder edge than this turn of the form here. I haven't no ink. Like that turn is definitely softer than this turn. So usually, like in painting and drawing, that'd be a harder edge. Yeah. Okay. I'm happy with that. I'll do some more of these. Thanks for coming.